I'm about to show you 5 defensive tips that when put together will give you the best defense in Madden to stop both the pass and the run every single time. Now make sure to pay attention to each tip because they all work in unison to create the best defense in the game and you do not want to miss out on anything. Now tip number 1 is very, very important. It's your coaching adjustment for your zone drops. This is one of the most important things you can do this year to have better defense. So the main one you want to focus on are your curl flats. You want to typically set these anywhere from 20 to 25 yards. The reason being, this is going to stop deep sideline passes. Now we'll show you how this works in a second. You also have regular flats. You can play around with these. Usually I leave this on default, but every now and then if I think it's a short yardage situation and my opponent might want to throw a quick flat, I'll actually put them on 0 and this usually leads to pick sixes. The other one you want to look at from time to time are the hooks. So these typically I'll put around 10 yards, especially on passing downs. If it's a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, I want to put these at about 10 yards because they're going to drop back and get into the perfect position to defend quick seam throws. But typically on any other down where it could be a run or a pass, I'll usually leave these at default. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at the zone drop adjustment for curl flats and how they work. So a typical thing you'll see this year is people will run cover 1 and they'll put 2 curl flats on the field, and we're going to dive deeper into that later in the video. But first I want to show you how they will react if you do not adjust your zone drops to go 20 to 25 yards back on these curl flats. If you leave them default, I want you to watch what happens here. So look at this deep crossing route to the wide receiver. Those have been really hard to stop for years in Madden, and they will remain hard to stop if you do not set your curl flats. You see how he just beat the man defender, and if you're playing zone, he usually gets over the top of any zone. Now let's take a look at the curl flats when we set them to drop 20 or 25 yards back as I told you to do. Running the same play here, and watch how the crossing route is going to be completely covered now. You see how the curl flat gets really far back there, and look, he's in position to make a play on the ball, either to swat it or potentially get an interception. So for another example, let's just look at a base cover 3 play. You can see that this has those curl flats on the field, so even if you want to play an all-out zone defense, the zone drop adjustments are still important because you're going to notice, watch how far back those deep purple zones are going to drop. You can see Derwin James is there to make a play on the ball because we told him to drop further back. It is crucial to set your zone drop for curl flats at 20 to 25 yards so that you can defend these deep sideline passes like crossing routes and corner routes that other years were almost impossible to stop. Today's video is sponsored by Fubo TV. Look, if you're one of the 80 million Americans who are fed up with paying high cable prices and dealing with shady cable companies, well, there's finally an alternative that gives you a cable TV experience at half the price, and it's called Fubo TV. Now, the great thing about it is that it comes with over 100 of your favorite channels, including complete coverage of all your favorite sports with all local broadcasters. It has all of the major sports networks like NFL, Red Zone, ESPN, ABC, CBS, and more. Now, that's what I use Fubo TV for. I'm sure most of you are like me, you like your sports. Plus, you can record all of your favorite games and TV shows on Fubo TV's cloud DVR and watch anywhere on any device. And on top of that, it's super easy to use. It takes about a couple minutes to set up, sign up, get your streaming cable channels. There's no cable box required, and you can try it free and cancel at any time. There's no hassle, there's no catch at all. Sign up for a risk-free trial of Fubo TV and get 15% off of your first month by going to FuboTV.com/RayWeather. That's FuboTV.com/RayWeather to start your free trial and get 15% off of your first month of Fubo TV. Number 2 is how to get the most out of your user defender, and this is a 2-part tip, and we're going to be using the nickel 3-3-5 wide as an example, but you really can use any nickel formation. Nickel as a whole are the best formations in the game this year because you can sub safeties in at linebackers, and that is part 1 of tip number 2. You want a safety here, so you get on your middle linebacker, you select the RB or R1 button, you're going to click on the guy that is already here, which is Kenneth Murray in our example, and then you can see below here we have different options. We're going to go ahead and put Derwin James here because he's going to be the best option to user. Safeties are allowed to move around a little bit better on the field. They have better change of direction, so you always want a safety here instead of a linebacker. Now, when you're on the field, the second part of this tip is you want to make sure your user defender is always blitzing pre-play, because this, believe it or not, is going to allow him to move around better on the field. He's going to have much better change of direction. So to blitz your user, you just get on your user defender, you press the A or X button and then down on the right stick. That's going to put him in a blitz assignment. And what happens here is you'll notice we can really just stop on a dime. Like, look how quick I can change direction with them. I'm not really using anything here because I'm just trying to show you an example of how I'm basically stopping on a dime and just able to change direction. You see how I can just stop and move around very quickly with him? You cannot do this if he is in a different assignment pre-play. So he could be in a zone, or he could maybe be manned up on a player. Let's say he was manned up on the running back, or he's in a deep zone. If he's in any of these types of things pre-play, he's not going to stop on a dime as quickly. You see see how it's a little bit slower when he stops? He has to kind of change direction. There's more momentum factored in. That does not happen when he's blitzing pre-play. When he's blitzing pre-play, you can just jump all around the field. You can stop literally on a dime, and it makes it so much easier for you to cover multiple things at one time. Tip number 3 is all about the pass rush. So we're using the nickel 3-3-5 wide once again because it is the best formation in the game. And the base play you're really going to want to use is the Mike Blitz 0. It's an all-out blitz, but we're going to show you how to both get regular D-line pressure and get blitz pressure out of this. And really quickly, if you're finding this video helpful and getting a lot out of it, I would appreciate if you would subscribe, turn on the bell icon so that you never miss videos like this in the future. Okay, so Mike Blitz 0, this is the play you want to base your defense out of. Now, there's 2 ways we can set this up. We can set this up to have a coverage style of defense and get pass rush from just our 2 defensive linemen, or we can do an all-out blitz. So first we're going to look at the coverage style of defense. Now what I like to do is, first off, you want to press your defense, which is wire triangle down on the left stick. You also want to shade your defense up so that you don't get beat off the press very quickly. So you press wire triangle and then up on the right stick to now shade up. And I always like to slide my defensive line to the right, which is left on the D-pad and then right on the left stick. And then you want to drop your 2 outside linebackers into those curl flats like we showed you in step 1, which are now set to 20 or 25 yards back. So the best way to do this is you jump on the guy on the left, you press the A or X button, and then right on the left stick, he's in a curl flat. This is the best way to do this because you can quickly get to the other outside linebacker by pressing the B or circle button twice really quickly. You see now we're on that guy, and then again we press A or X right on the left stick, and here we have it. We have our curl flats, we have our man defense pressed, our defensive line is shifted to the right as well. This is going to help us if they run the ball, and that's basically it. The other optional thing you can do if you have time is put your defensive tackle into a spy. I do recommend doing this if you have time. If you're not quick enough with it, it's okay. You don't have to do it. But if you have time, you get on your D tackle, you press A or X left on the right stick to put him into a spy. And then your user's already blitzing for you on this play, which is great. And believe it or not, you're going to get good pass rush from the 2 defensive ends. So we snap the ball here and you see we've got our good user. We can maneuver around and look how quick the pass rush came in. You think that's a joke? That's how good the pass rush is with this play. So again, press the defense, shade up, move the defensive line to the right, put both of your outside guys in purples, put the DT in a spy if you can, and you can see, look, we can set it up quick. It just takes a little bit of practice, and again, your user's already blitzing, so you can jump all over the field, do what you have to do, and look, the pressure is coming in with just 2 guys. That's why this nickel 3-3-5 is so good, because even with just 2 defensive ends, you get good pressure. And on top of that, the sidelines are locked up because of the deep purples. Everybody's got a man for them, and man defense is good this year, and your user is able to free roam over the middle. Now, once you do this a little bit, you know, they're usually never going to have their running back blocking because you're only rushing 2 people. They want as many receiving options out there as possible. So now we can mix in the blitz pass rush of this by doing the same setup. We press, we shade over top. We're going to shift our defensive line to the right. But now what we're going to do is we're just going to run through with our user. We're not going to put the guys in purple zones because now we want to do an all-out blitz. So we run right through with our user. We dive at the QB. Russell Wilson's a beast, so we just shrugged us off. But you could see just how quickly we came through there. Yes, we're leaving everybody one-on-one, but when you mix this in, it's not expected because they're expecting you to drop 8 to 9 guys every play. They're thinking they're going to have a little bit longer to make a read. They're sending everybody out, and then again, you're just shooting right through here. You're diving, and before they know what hit them, you sacked them. Tip number 4 is how to shut down the run out of this defense. So we're using the same play, the Mike Blitz 0. We're going to do the same setup. We're going to press. We're going to shade over top. We're going to shift the defensive line to the right. We're going to go ahead and do our dual purple zones. We're going to put our defensive tackle in a spy, but we're able to shoot the run with this as well. That is what we look for at the beginning of the play. If it's a run, we're shooting down into the gap to take the running back. If it's not a run, that's when we drop back in coverage. So watch what happens here. We can usually shoot right through here, and if we can't get a clean shot, we can muddy it up just like that, and it makes it hard to run the ball. Now, sometimes it depends. Sometimes it's actually better to shift the defensive line away from the running back when you want to shoot the run, but the pass rush will still remain the same. Typically, more times than not, I'm shifting my D-line to the right, but you can play around with this. If someone's running the ball a lot and you find that you're shooting the run better while shifting your defensive line to the left instead of the right, you can make that switch up, and it's not going to affect how the defense or the pass rush works at all. So you can see here, we shifted the line to the left, and look how easy we ran through. We hit sticked him in the backfield. So the line shift for stopping the run, really, just whichever way you feel more comfortable, you could shift right or left. Typically, I'm more of a right guy, like I said, but you can see we're able to get pass rush pressure. We're able to have good coverage defense and still shoot the run out of the same defense. Now for tip number 5, this is a little extra tip that you can throw in there to really make the defense even better. You can actually audible from nickel 3-3-5 to nickel 3-3-5 wide. Now, the reason this is good is because in the regular nickel 3-3-5, you can actually sub 3 safeties in at linebackers. So you can go ahead and put some of your best safeties here at linebacker. You can see I could put one guy there. I'm going to put Watkins here on the outside, and then at the middle linebacker, of course, I want Derwin James because that's my user. Now, in the nickel 3-3-5 wide, you can only sub in a safety at middle linebacker. You can't sub them in at outside linebacker. So that's why coming out in the nickel 3-3-5 actually is better, because now you can hit the X button or the square button. You want to go over one time to the left on your D-pad, and you can see now the nickel 3-3-5 wide is there, and we can audible in to the Mike Blitz 0, and you can see now we have 3 safeties here. So what this is going to do is give us better coverage, because obviously you're going to have better coverage with safeties than linebackers. You don't have to do this for the defense to work, however, but it's going to just be a little bit of an added extra, and you can see everything is locked up on the play. Pass rush is still pretty good, and we have nothing to worry about. So to wrap it all up, this is the defense. You want to come out in 3-3-5, you want to audible to the Mike Blitz 0, you want to press, you want to shade over top, you want to shift your defensive line either right or left, it's up to you. You want to put your outside guys in purples, and if you can, get your defensive tackle into a spy, and there you have it, the best defense in the game. You can shoot the gap versus the run, you can get good pressure, and if you want to mix in the blitz, you just leave everybody blitzing and you manually rush through yourself. But there you have it, the 5 tips to the best defense in the game. Go out there and get you some W's. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.